Hi everybody, thank you for taking the time to listen and to watch this. As you're well aware, the government has introduced new rules and policy around the return to school for the spring term 2021. I hope that you've all managed to stay safe and well over the Christmas holidays, and we're busy now trying to plan what those new rules and regulations mean for Oak Grove, but also how we continue, because our first priority is to keep the whole of our community safe and well. There are a number of challenges that we need to think about. We're now all in a tier 4 area. That means that those students who are diagnosed as clinically extremely vulnerable and those staff should not now be attending college. We must remember that students and staff should also not be in college if anyone in their household, including the support bubble, is showing symptoms, tests positive, or the individual student or staff member is showing symptoms or has tested positive for COVID-19. It does seem that the new strain of the virus is spreading faster, including amongst children. That does mean, and we need to be really clear about that, that class closures are more likely, and it's more likely for students and staff to get COVID-19. One of the other challenges is that the government wants us to set up a mass testing programme in college. Fundamentally, for college to be open and successful, we need all parts of all of the college teams to be healthy and well and working so that they can continue that great teamwork to provide the very best care and education for all of our youngsters. Now, testing, I want to go through that slightly at the moment. It is compulsory for us as a school to establish it. It is voluntary for staff and students to take part in it. It requires quite a significant amount of space to be allocated to this purpose in college, and according to the DfE website planning tool, it's going to require up to 11 staff as full-time to run it for Oak Grove College. These are lateral flow tests, and while there is anxiety in some quarters about their reliability, this is what we are being told will be used at the moment. They require a swab in the mouth and nose and results within 30 minutes. We need to think about, will students, will staff consent to that testing? It is your choice, and how we will carry that testing out. That is something we're currently planning at the moment. We have been told we will expect all our testing equipment to be delivered on the 4th of January. And that's what we're working to. This morning, I've had a long conversation with the Department for Education, and I've had another long conversation with Public Health England, particularly the Sussex and Surrey Health Protection team, to get further advice. I have just been told that we are expecting the Department for Education to announce significantly more detailed and further guidance for special schools at some point today, because they recognise there are a lot of unanswered questions from what they released yesterday. So how, where and when are we going to do testing? Well, first of all, I need to identify 11 people who are willing to do that. I need to train them to do the testing, and we need to establish that team as well. The challenge that we've got is that the more staff I use from college, the less staff I will have to run the classes. You may have seen that the government have issued military personnel to support schools. That is in organising it. It is not in delivering and running it. And at the same point in time, everything that happens in college still has to happen, so that we have to be able to do this without causing impacts elsewhere. How are we going to do that? At this point in time, what I'm thinking about is a staggered return from Monday, and I will come on to that in a bit more detail, because the reality is I'm going to email a survey to you very shortly. Please complete that as soon as possible. There is a survey going to families, and there is a survey going to staff. As soon as we have a large proportion of people having completed them, that will help me and the rest of my senior leadership colleagues plan the staggered return. It does seem that there is an increased transmission in the current variant of COVID-19. So that means we are going to have to step back to introduce more control measures to protect staff and students. There will be no off-site visits from next week, and class groups will continue to remain together. I appreciate that this doesn't give you lots of answers. What I'm saying to you is I need your help to give me some of your thinking so that we can plan. As we are in a tier 4 area, please be clear the guidance for schools says explicitly that there can be and should be no detriment to families if you choose not to send your young people into school. Okay, that is absolutely reasonable and fine for you to do that. So what we need to know is if there are people who are thinking along those lines. Thank you to all of you for your continued support and help. And our plan is that at some point in the weekend, we will send more messages with our plan for a staggered start. At this point in time, it is likely that we are saying no students in school on Monday, the 4th of January. However, we will confirm that. And that will enable us, hopefully, to set up the testing regime. Thank you for your time. Stay safe, stay well. If you need to email me, feel free to do so to ask any further questions, and I will try and get back to you as soon as possible. And I wish all of you the very best for a happy, healthy and slightly saner 2021.